going to let other folks join, and I'll be back in about 1 minute, and we'll be ready to go. All right, welcome again, everyone. We appreciate you joining us today for our eFocus series webinar as we discuss 1095 preparation for payroll. As a reminder, our eFocus series webinars are designed to cover relevant topics once a month throughout the year to help you maximize your software investment in Abila MIP Fund Accounting. So I want to introduce you to June Groh. He is one of our staff Abila MIP consultants. June has been providing consulting and implementation services for the Abila MIP Fund Accounting product for more than 7 years. In addition to having a strong background with Abila software technology, he's also a certified community action professional, having worked as the finance director of a community action program in the past. And you'll also see you can use the chat feature to send over any questions. And as we're going through the webinar, June will respond at certain moments when appropriate. We are also recording this webinar and we'll make it available to you early next week. So without further ado, I'll let June take it away.
Thank you, Andy. I appreciate it. And welcome everyone to eFocus series webinar. And today we'll be talking about preparing 1095. We know that a deadline for 1095 filing is coming due at the end of the month. So I thought it was kind of a nice topic to discuss before the end of the month starts. So anyway, I have the PowerPoint presentation, kind of go through the step-by-step process presenting and getting your preparation for 1095. So here we go. So basically the preparing a 1095 and using MIP and Aatrix, there's about 8 steps involved. Now granted, those 8 steps, each step has a multiple different levels that you have to do. But of course, many of you are interested in attending this webinar series. So the step 1 is that I'm sure you guys already determined that you qualify to provide the Affordable Care Act, so that you have a 50-plus employee or equivalent at 30 hours a week or 30 hours a month. So you probably need to file 1095 for the information for your organization. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and launch the Aatrix. So you want to go to Activities, Payroll, Tax Forms, and E-Filing by Aatrix. And in the description, on your this the chances are your form out of date. So it's also just to update your forms.
Hey June, sorry to jump in here. We're getting a couple hands up. I guess the audio, your audio connection is breaking up a little bit.
Okay.
So sit tight, everyone, while we get that worked out.
And can you hear me?
Sounds like it's still breaking up on my end. Yeah, thanks everyone. I got the messages here, so I'm just monitoring that. So we'll let June dial back in. So just sit tight for a minute, and June should be right back with us.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. If we can have everybody else maybe just pop up, make sure they can hear you as well.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, I think that's a green light.
Okay. Sorry about that. Alrighty. So technology is a wonderful thing, but when it doesn't work, it's really kind of gives you a little pain in the butt. So anyway, I was talking about in the step 2, what you want to do is launch your Aatrix. So what you really want to do is go to select forms and select the form type called in the federal. And on the form, select 2015 1095 1094C. Then what I was mentioning about it on the right-hand side over here, you want to do is make sure your form is up to the current date. So the form's update. So if it's grayed out, the chances are your form is not updated. So you always want to go ahead and get the latest and the current form is available. In this case, my form update is grayed out, meaning that I have a current latest version of the forms. Now, also in the full-time employee system, will try to calculate. Now, obviously, most of you guys probably don't have HR. Now, if you do use HR, the MIP has the EWS functionality. Then you can use a calculator using the web timesheet hours. But however, in this particular presentation, we're making the assumption that you don't have EWS or MIP HR. So we're going to go ahead and use a calculate using the payroll hours. So keep in mind the system is trying to calculate as best it can based on the hours that you enter in your timesheet. And select the period for 1 year and make sure you select 2015. Then in the bottom section down here, you have a filter options. So what you really want to do is that if you're a single employee ID number and if you don't need to file multiple filing with a different EIN number, the chances are you don't want to use any filters. So if you're just a single EIN, then you don't need to use any specific filters in that matter. So once you go ahead and launch the Aatrix and you say OK, and the system's kind of go through the wizard process. I usually call it Aatrix wizard, but in this case it's an ACH setup wizard. So now for me, basically I like to just do a test run. So right now I have selected I want to run a test run in this case here. So I select I wanted to test drive the 1095 wizard for only 25 of my employees. Now keep in mind though, as my database, I only got maybe less than 10 employees on my database. So, but if you really want to just go ahead and say, hey, you know what, I already know what I need to do, so I just say no thanks, let's go ahead and start processing my 1095. So this is the option that you want to select. Okay, so as you start processing the information, the wizard will start collecting data from your MIP database. So what it's doing is that first it's going to collect your company EIN number. So make sure those numbers are correct. Then you want to say, hey, here's my company organization information, the address, and who's the contact information. So again, this is the basic information you have available. Now, if you have this information already set up under the organization and the organization information, that information we pull directly from there. If not, you can always go ahead and populate manually. So, and then the system keeps asking, hey, which tax preparer are you? Are you filing for your company or are you a third party? Again, this is pretty much self-explanatory. And as you kind of goes on, you just go ahead and click next. and saying that, hey, are you a designated government entity? Like I'm filing for my company or employer, or I'm a designated government employee. So most of you guys will probably be checking this box right here saying I am filing for my company or employer. Now also, if you wish to truncate your social security number, the MIP with the Aatrix kind of give you different options right here. You can say do not truncate, or say truncate with the Aatrix. Example, here you got asterisk, 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 and then last 4 digits. Or you can do with the X's if you want to. So I know that many of you, and particularly myself sometimes, when I'm in a hurry, I kind of rush the whole thing through on the wizard. But I just kind of want to kind of slow you guys down and pull the rein a little bit to show you different options available. So, okay, so now again, are you doing any multiple ACH on a data file? And simply say most of you guys are probably found no. But if you are, you can click on yes. But chances are, the majority of you guys are probably using no. Okay, so once all the information is pulled up, the system is going to bring in the step 3. So you want to use the Aatrix to record your employer information. And it's broken down into five different sections here. So we have a LA member information here, the certification of eligibility. Then you get the member information. Now you can do it on a monthly basis, like January to December, or you can just say, hey, all year, so then you can check it off. Now obviously you can see on my system I have some data already populated here because again, my system pulled the information based on my hours that I used when I initially launched the Aatrix. Okay, so then on the right here we have tips. Then on the right here is any errors. So if you have any specific errors and when you're filling out this information, then the system says, hey, these are the errors that I found. Now, just because the system found the error doesn't mean that you are answering your questions properly. So please check with your tax experts in that regards. But anyway, the system is trying to check against what you're asking to answer in these red boxes right here. But if it doesn't fulfill the match exactly compared to what the system is trying to do, then you have the error message here. So pay attention to those error messages. So it's a really good part here. And the last part is the different steps. So we have to go through the step 1 of 5. So again, now to move your information from step 1 to all the way to 5, we'll use this next step right here. So this information will move along here. So what I did is I kind of went ahead and kind of went further and kind of broke them down into different sections of the little different areas I was talking about. So I kind of give more of a verbatim what the specific information is choosing for. Say, like, for example, does this employer provide a self-insurance coverage, yes or no? In this case, I say yes. Does the employee have a foreign address? I'll say, well, in my case, it would be probably no. And again, majority of you will answer no also. And the next part is enter any number of the Form 1095-C submittal. Again, this is based on what the MIP found. So I have 7 employees that qualify to get the 1095. And is there any, so again, keep going to this proof and listing here. So again, I will have this PowerPoint presentation for you to read verbatim, but I don't want to sit here and kind of read every little aspects of it. Okay. The second part is the certification of eligibility. Choose which eligibility method applies to your filing situation. Okay. Once again, MIP cannot support and cannot advise you which option to check. So I would suggest you strongly to contact your tax advisor about the selection. So these are the 4 different certification eligibility, that you're offering. Then you got your monthly member information. You can do it on a monthly basis, or you can just check it all year. So it depends on, again, how fast the information you want to put in. Okay, and then this is what I talked about, the error. Okay. Okay, and once all that is done, then in step 4, you want to verify employee and employee data. So again, I have it broken down into different sections also here. So what that's going to kind of give you the area. So you want to say, here's my 7 employees I said I'd pull. You want to kind of verify all that information. Okay. Then here's a different plan. Are you covering offer, employee share, and you can do any safe harbor, or are you providing it for? Now you can do all year, and that would the system will populate given the whole year, or you can do on a month-by-month basis. So again, depends on when did the employee started or what time they left. Again, so that would kind of vary, depends on the employee situation by situation. So again, I have 6 different sections I have over here. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of break it down into different sections. So once again, you're going to verify all the employees. So now, again, though, you may have, the system is going to pull all the employee data that is available, but the thing is that the system will pull all employees. So you might want to go ahead and say you need to remove. All you have to do is simply right-click your mouse, and you have the remove function. You can add also, or you can remove. Then you can also add multiple, or you can remove multiples. So those are the options available to you guys. Okay. So again, this is another screen showing that here's removing multiple employees. We'll simply say, hey, just check all the employees that you want to remove. Okay, and the second part is the plan selection information. So this section allows you to enter the information about the coverage value you are selecting for employee. There is an option to make the selection for entire year, right here, or month by month, depending on which column that you select. So and I also put a highlight is if you choose all year, then you will not have to make a selection each month. So again, if you have all the full-time employees that have started for the year, but then you have to make the changes. So some people give me their point of view and say, hey, I can just select the whole year, and then maybe I can go with employee by employee basis and change it on those basis. Which is I think it worked. I'm not really sure how their output was, because I wasn't able to do any follow-up on that. So whatever the mix make sure case easy for you guys the information. So right now, what you're really doing is basically filling out those information on an employee by employee basis. Okay. So again, I kind of broke it down as saying coverage offer is chosen drop-down list. Okay, so now if you also check the employee share, then this requires for the 1B, 1C, and 1D. Okay. If you want some specific on what those each letters are, contact me or contact Andy, and I can provide that information for you. Okay, so again, this information is not automatically pulled from MIP or any HR information, so you would have to determine these values. And then also, if you have the employer provided self-insurance coverage, that's a safe harbor code, then you would put it under the safe harbor code here. Now, in this particular section I'm showing you is all year, but that information is also available on a month-by-month basis. Okay. So then also you want to go ahead and say add an employee or remove employee. So in this case, you can use this feature to add or remove employee from the grid. So to remove the employee, select the click remove employee, or add employee will create a new line grid. So the employee information can be entered into grid exactly like I was showing you here. So in this particular case, I'm showing you as a Natalie Savage, So I was planning to go to regular. So she falls under the group ID. Then I can go in there, and then if I click on down there, then I will get the different codes. And then number 4 is basically the detailed information. That's what I was mentioning right here. So you can, okay, and then on the section 5, you select down which code that you want to put in. And the step 5 that you want to do is to add employee cover or individual dependent. So this is kind of neat, unique situation where you select all this information, but if you need to put additional information into your system, then this is where you would come in and go ahead and it's like put in the information and say, hey, does employee provide self-insurance coverage? Yes or no. And does the employee have a foreign address? Now, in this particular case, I say that this employee provides self-insurance coverage. I marked it yes, just for demonstration purposes. And then I can say, and now I can say, click on Add Cover Individual. or I can say remove cover individual. So those are the different options available for me to use. So again, though, keep in mind though is that using the Aatrix wizard is really a simplification of it, but providing the information that you want to put in to the individual employees, that's what you have to do your homework prior to really before you're running this Aatrix. Okay, so here's a situation where I'm doing the Dana Jeffries. I'm filling the information here. So I'm putting a date of birth, you know, and then I can say all instead of January, February, March. So again, I'm just kind of putting that information. So okay, and the step 6, and you can also send the information on 1095 electronically delivery. So if you check the box as electronic box only is checked, or you can, just send them a paper copy. Okay, so but keep in mind though is you have to get the email addresses need to be provided if you want to do electronically. And the final checking is, again, I was talking about the errors. This step validates all the information and then make sure that nothing is missing. And it does validate to make sure the information is accurate, only present. Okay, so if you have any errors that might be highlighted in the grid, and any errors that you may come up. So example for right here is like employee coverage code must exist for every month. So again, I kind of created different errors so that I can let you guys see what the error message may or may not show. So once all the information is gone through and you went through all the steps and you validate all your information, employee, and the last thing you want to do is you want to print, just like if you did W-2s using Aatrix. Now we're just kind of going through the printing process. So after you validate all your data, okay. So again, you will see the pricing on the information here. Now in this complete, you have a complete e-filing service, or I went ahead and select the other options. I can say print my employee 1095Cs, and then e-file federal only, which is going to be 7, which is cost 49 cents a pop. That equivalent to $3.43. You know. Then again, I have a minimum here, so again, so you have to cover. So again, sometimes I know people like electronic filing because they say that by the time we spend time printing it, then mailing it, and everything else, they say, you know what, it's a lot cheaper this way. So that's totally up to you guys. So, and this is what the sample of your 1094C first for the employer side of it. Now, this is not a full copy. So, but I just want to show you that this is what the kind of form output looks like. So again, what you would do is you go through the Aatrix process of printing your 1095C, and then you want to hit next, and then you want to print the next form, and then you click on next again to print another form. And this is what the sample of 1095C for the employee will get. And that concludes my information on 1095C. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any question that you have right now.
Yeah, there is one question. Kathy, this is Andy with Capital Business Solutions again. I will have a copy of the PowerPoint as well as a link to the webinar video itself. So I'll be sending that out to everybody. Hopefully we'll have that ready to go tomorrow to everyone.
And also to everyone that I have a full copy of the 1095C on a step-by-step guide that I got a copy from the from Abila. So it goes, again, like I said, I could have showed you every little detail, but then that would take forever and the whole presentation. So I try to make it more of a narrative of my presentation here, kind of give you more of a core concentration. But if you want the written on a step-by-step instructions and it has a lot more detail to it, please copy contact Andy or myself, and I'll be happy to provide that information for you. But I'll send that copy to Andy as soon as the presentation is over.
June, looks like we have a question from Carl. Is there any way the payroll or HR modules can track the enrollment status of an employee?
Carl, can you be more specific on what do you mean by the enroll status? Are you talking about the enroll status? Are they qualified to get the 1095-C, or are you talking about in that regard, sir? Let me see if I can unmute Carl. Okay, Carl, I unmute you. Can you go ahead and talk?
Yes. I'm wondering about the 1095-C status enrollment.
So you're saying that, well, in the HR side of it, there's a form available in the in this. Let me go ahead and open up the HR for you, so I hope you can see the screen. Of course, the system is always slow when you want something fast. So in the benefit plan of the HR, you can say Affordable Care Act is you can check the box that says applicable. Okay, so that's available in the HR, but it's not available in the payroll itself. So I hope that answered your questions.
That answers my question. Great.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, I thank you everyone for attending, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys on my next webinar series. Have a good day.
Thanks a lot, everyone. All right, bye-bye.